The leader of all the monarchs and the final villain of solo leveling himself, Antares, the Monarch of Destruction and King of Dragons. Antares was one of the original monarchs, powerful beings born from the primordial darkness to wage war against the rulers. And as the King of Dragons, he commanded an army of fearsome beasts, becoming the embodiment of destruction itself. Unlike some of the other monarchs, Antares was a battle maniac, reveling in endless conflict, caring little for alliances and respecting only power. The war between the monarchs and the rulers raged for eons, with neither side achieving total victory. It was like whenever one side was winning, the other side got a stat buff, and then they just went back to clashing like in any online game. In fact, Antares was one of the first beings to realize the corrupt nature of the absolute being. However, his battle-crazed, destructive nature, the distinct difference between the monarchs and rulers, just wouldn't let the war stop. After Ashbourne joined the monarchs, Antares started to grow fearful about his powers, and was the one who actually ordered Rakan and Baran to fight him in the first place. But as we all know, this resulted in not only Baran's death, but Rakan's retreat, resulting in Ashbourne leaving the war and the rulers claiming total victory. It wasn't until much later when Antares reunited with Ashbourne, who asked if he could rejoin their forces. And with Baran and Legia both lost, naturally Antares was like, hell yes, come over now, like we need you. When the second war initially took place, Antares was the only monarch who was unable to find a suitable human vessel, similar to Ashbourne, meaning that while the others were able to travel between the two worlds basically whenever they wanted, Ashbourne was forced to remain behind until the conditions were right for him to be able to cross over into Earth. He reveled in the destruction he caused with his powers, and due to him being unparalleled in strength, he naturally behaved in a casual and confident manner. One of his stats is beating Jinwoo in physical strength, as he easily held his own against the Shadow Lord. He also possessed abilities like shapeshifting, telepathy, and Dragon Sphere, a mana-infused shout from his soul that would drive those weaker than him into total despair. But Antares' main skill is Breath of Destruction, an attack so powerful it would reduce the average S-rank hunter to ash, negate Jinwoo's attacks, and permanently destroy any shadow soldier that got in the way. On top of that, he was a master of fire magic, with the flames being so powerful that they could create massive explosions just by summoning a few streams of fire from his fingers and slashing them with his claws. Antares is also able to transform into a giant red dragon and a human dragon hybrid, which makes sense because he's the king of dragons. To be honest, what makes Antares stand out to me isn't his insane power level, but his personality, as unlike some of his fellow monarchs, Antares did possess a sense of honor and was even willing to negotiate with those he found impressive, like when he promised Jinwoo that he would withdraw all of his forces and spare humanity if Jinwoo agreed to fight with him against the rulers. This man becomes a certified Jinwoo simp later on in Ragnarok 2. As being killed by the man in not one, but two different timelines, he realizes that he's him. I mean, he even agreed to come back to life in exchange for helping Jinwoo's son, Suho, to become the next Monarch of Destruction. With the monarchs exterminated and the war seemingly over, Antares disappeared into the abyss of death, trapped in a formless afterlife where he can no longer fight a fate worse than death for someone who lived for war. Despite his destruction though, Jinwoo chose to bring Antares back, but in a vastly different form. Knowing Antares' insane thirst for battle, he offered him a second chance, but with a catch. He would be reincarnated inside the body of a newly hatched dragon, Ragnarok, who was another one of Suho's pets. At first, Antares was furious, but he soon saw this as an opportunity that he didn't have in his previous life. He'd already reached the peak of his power, leveling him with no room to grow. Now in the body of a young dragon, he could actually start over from scratch and grow even stronger. However, his lack of mana in this new form meant that he was frequently incapacitated, requiring Suho's assistance to function properly. Despite his limitations, Antares continued training Suho as the next Monarch of Destruction because the amount of hacks this kid already had, plus his father's shadows, he was like, this guy's great, like he could be his new legacy. And so teaching him how to wield the powers of destruction was definitely something he wanted. However, Suho wasn't just handed all of this. He had to earn the monarch's favor in the most grueling fashion by withstanding the first trial of destruction where Suho nearly died. It happened during the battle against the priest of the apostles, Siddharth Pachan. Oh my god, that was I fucked that up so bad. The Indian S-rank hunter who took took the deal of power and corruption given to him by the apostles. A priest is similar to how currently Suho is able to take the abilities of like Rakan and Coerza, where they can borrow the apostles' power. In this fight, it was quite clear that Suho was easily outmatched against the national level hunter's Iterum infused astral weapon, and if things couldn't get any worse, Bro received a notification that he met the conditions for the Dragon King's trial, which was the first step to him becoming the Monarch of Destruction. Now, this battle wasn't just about raw strength. Suho had to adapt mid-fight, controlling the flames of destruction which were burning him relentlessly, a searing pain enveloping every cell in his body. But being the spawn of Jinwoo, he didn't give up, instead using these flames of destruction to his advantage, as he grabbed onto Siddharth, spreading the flames onto him, killing him and spilling his doom. Defeating this national level hunter leveled up Suho to a point where he could actually tame the Dragon King's heart and be able to wield destruction flames. Suho would have another trial while fighting the Monarch of White Flames, but Sid already explained that battle, so I'm not going to dive deeper into that one. Meanwhile, Antares exists in this strange dual state. He's both the newborn dragon Ragnar and an ancient spirit of destruction, bound to Suho. His goals remain entirely the same, to regain his strength and fight once more, reveling in the destruction he caused. If you enjoyed this, then watch the video on screen right now about the real god of the multiverse, Sung Woo, and how strong he is.